I'm probably not going to do any editing on this, so I do apologize for all the ums and ahs, but I definitely want to get this out to everybody, so you can hear what's going on. Right there was another one. Okay, well, I guess this is going to be kind of an urgent vlog, and the topic of the vlog is going to be, it'll be something like urgent citizens lose right to sue government. And I want to tell you all about something that happened in an Ohio state court today. Many of you know a couple years back, casinos were legalized in Ohio. They were actually put into the state constitution through a ballot issue that was put during an off election year. So there were no major candidates, issues, any kind of thing that was going on. It was at a time when actually fewer people voted yes for it than the previous times that it had failed, and yet it still passed because there were just not enough no votes. So, and it got put into the Constitution. It got put into the Constitution as 4 separate casinos. But what happened is, and unfortunately, Ohio is a Republican-controlled state. It was a Republican-controlled state, both the House and the Senate, and then we also had John Kasich, which got elected as governor. But even though it's a Republican-led state, the Republican leadership in both the House and the Senate, as well as the governor, started making backdoor deals with a very wealthy casino lobby. Actually, we call it the casino cartel. And there were backdoor deals that were made. Now we have like 11 different casinos. We have racetrack casinos. We have these little, we got one right here in Chardon called High Rollers. All these different things that were not part of the constitutional amendment. Well, a group called American Policy Roundtable, which has its Ohio affiliate is Ohio Policy Roundtable, and I think there's one in Kentucky and one in Florida as well. They actually sued the state to stick to the Constitution, which was not all these other casinos. Actually, the casinos too were passed because people felt it was going to, at least the people who voted yes, which, as I said before, there were fewer than there were at the beginning, because a lot of the money was going to go to schools, and there were going to be Ohio people that were going to be employed. Well, they hired out-of-state workers, and they also got rid of the provision that a large percentage of the money is going to go to the schools. So they got rid of that provision, which only makes the casinos more of the people's hard-earned money. So they sued them. The Ohio Policy Roundtable sued the state of Ohio to stick to the constitutional amendment that was passed by the voters. The judge, I'm trying to think of what the guy's name is. I'll probably put it in the annotations here. And for some reason, I seem to remember it being a Tim Horton, or Horton, something, last name Horton. Once the lawsuit was filed, the judge, I believe that the state, as well as the casinos, so the state and the casinos were both fighting against what the constitutional amendment was. And they actually asked the judge initially, which everybody thought was basically just a procedural thing leading up to the trial, they asked the judge to throw the court case out. Nobody really thought that there was any chance of that happening. The judge took 8 months to come down with a ruling on that motion to throw the case out, and believe it or not, he agreed to throw it out. So without even hearing any testimony, without hearing anything from, as far as a trial is concerned, not allowing people to bring the evidence and hear the evidence, and they just basically took statements from all the lawyers. The state and the casinos brought in I don't know, there's somewhere between 8 and 10 lawyers. I don't know how many it was. Ohio Policy Roundtable had 1 lawyer, and the arguments that he had far outweighed. I mean, it was simple. Stick to the Constitution. You can't make these extra constitutional decisions and policies and stuff when it was very clear what the constitutional amendment authorized, and they went way beyond that. And what is even more egregious and what really makes this an urgent vlog, one that I just had to go out and do, is the reasoning that the judge gave for throwing the case out. He said that the reason why the case was not could not be brought to trial was that he said no citizen has the right to bring a lawsuit against the state, against the government, and force them or require them to stick to their Constitution. If you're not flabbergasted right now, I don't know what kind of state we live in. It's no longer Democrat or Republican anymore. It's they both just want, I guess, our country to totally disintegrate, and every state constitution, as far as I know, as well as the U.S. Constitution, gives the people the right to petition or to, sue, in a way, their government in order to hold to what it should be doing as spelled out in the constitutions of both the states and the country. So for a judge to come out and say that no citizen has the right to sue their government and hold them to what the Constitution says is absolutely ridiculous. The most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, and there is absolutely no precedent for what this guy has done or said. Absolutely nothing. And yet this judge, if this is just let go, if this is just a bypass, this judge's decision is going to be referenced by every state judge that desires or is bought off by some special interest group, be it a casino lobby, be it a big labor union, a big corporation. No matter what, if the judge wants that, if the judge can get the legislature and the executive branch all to agree on a scheme together, like has happened in Ohio with the casinos, a judge can reference this case and say, I'm sorry, but this judge in Ohio made this decision that no citizen has the right to sue or petition their government to hold to its Constitution. And even more, just as egregious as that is, why is it that, here we have our government operating extra constitutionally. It's like a government cannot pick and choose which laws it wants to enforce, which part of its Constitution is applicable. I mean, the Constitution is, and the laws of the country are what they are. You can't change them. You can't decide, oh well, I'm not going to enforce this one, but I'm going to enforce that one. I'm not going to make this happen, but I'm going to make that happen. You know, I tell you what, people, if we don't start finding a way to turn the tide in our government, they're not going to pay attention to us. They're not going to care what their limitations are. They're going to do exactly what they want, exactly when they want it. And I tell you what, our founding fathers, the people that fought for this country to be the way that it is, fought for the Constitution to be the way that it was, fought for independence. You know, it's no small wonder that Memorial Day just happened. Went around to a bunch of cemeteries taking pictures of Revolutionary War grave sites. You know, a lot of people died to make this country the way that it was, a constitutional republic, and you know, it's disintegrating right before our eyes. And I don't know if our government leaders don't seem to have the fortitude to do what needs to be done. So that is Ohio Policy Roundtable, and I think it's American Policy Roundtable is like the national part of it, and then they have different state ones. You got to go out and check this out. I can send you the alert, the urgent alert that came from them. If you just PM me, I will copy and paste the text out of the urgent email that we got about this whole court case, so you can read up on you know, their reaction to that judge's decision, and maybe there's a way that you can get involved, because I'm telling you, like I said before, if this is allowed to stand, if a judge is allowed to do this, there's going to be no limitations to the power that the government has, because the citizenry will be powerless to do anything about it. There's nothing that we'll be able to do short of violence. And you know, it's not gotten to that. I would never recommend violence against your government. I think considering the upper hand that the government has in a case like this, in a time like this, it would just be pure suicide. So the solution has got to be political. It's got to be voting the bums out that do this, that feel like this, that think that the government is all powerful and are not limited in any way, shape, or form. It's got to change. It's got to change, people. These people have got to adhere to the Constitution. I think I'm going to drive down that other road back there. Love the smell of red wine in the morning, or actually in the evening.